Hello, guys. Welcome back to another podcast. This week, I'm going for something a bit different. The past few videos have been focusing on the latest transfers that have been coming up for the Premier League season. Started off this channel saying that most of the videos will be to do with the Premier League season, but as the season's still a month away, I thought I'll do something different and discuss Wimbledon. As we're into the second week of the show and it's the business end of the tournament, where all the main players will be playing against each other, I thought I'll do a video on this and see what opinions I can get from Zach as well, because he's a big tennis fan himself. So, Zach, when looking at Andy Murray's uh, fixtures so far in the tournament, do you think he's had a pretty easy run in, or do you think that the fixtures he's had have been tough, even though he's won most of them in 3 sets?
I'd say he hasn't been challenged by any tough players. Um, I'd say he's really had a different. He's really played and encountered players with different styles, and he's had to adapt to that. That's the only challenge that Andy Murray's had so far. Um, to be really honest, it's been an easy draw for Andy Murray. He hasn't really encountered any challenging, tough players with big seedings so far. But as the tournament goes through, he'll play more challenging players, and we'll see more interesting tennis from Andy Murray.
So, out of the players that Andy Murray has faced, in the first round he faced Bublik. Second round he played Dustin Brown. Third round he played Fabio Fognini, and in the
Yeah.
fourth round he just overcame Benoit Paire. Out of these four players, four very different style players, which player do you think was the most trickiest for him to play against?
The most trickiest one was Fognini because he gave up a set to Fognini, and in that game, I think his first serve points one was really low. It was 67%, and that was a big drop compared to the rest of the games. As you can see, that all the stats and everything, it was really close between Fognini and Andy Murray in terms of winners, unforced errors, and double faults. It was literally the same, very similar.
So
And I'd say
Andy
that one,
Murray,
that was his
so
most
Andy Murray,
difficult.
so Andy Murray will be playing. What's his name? Sam Querrey in the next round. Sam Querrey overcame Kevin Anderson, the South African, yesterday in a five-setting thrilling match. It was a really tough game between Kevin Anderson and Sam Querrey. The fourth set went to a tiebreak, which ended up 13-11, and Sam Querrey overcame Kevin Anderson in the final set 6-3, I think. Sam Querrey's a big serving American who's last year he knocked out Novak Djokovic in 5 sets. Do you think Sam Querrey will prove a test to Andy Murray, or do you think it's another walk? It should be a formality for Andy Murray to overcome Sam Querrey?
By any means, no, because you saw yesterday with the Rafa Nadal and Gilles Muller match. You saw it went to 15-13 in the final set, and it was 2 sets all. You can clearly tell that these big servers, they suit this Wimbledon surface much more than players who have better shot making, like Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. I'd say Wimbledon is a lot down to your serve, and these players like Sam Querrey, Gilles Muller, they're very good at serve volleying, and they know how to shorten the points each game. So because of that, they're very tricky, and they could easily win sets of top class players like Andy Murray, Rafael Nadal, Djokovic. And obviously, Andy Murray hasn't faced any big servers so far, so I say a very tricky encounter for Andy Murray this match.
That's a very that's a very good point that you make about Andy Murray. He's not really faced anyone with a big serve yet, and I think like players like Ivo Karlovic, who was knocked out in the first round, the big serving 6'10" Croatian. I think if Andy Murray had played a player like him, maybe he would have had more of a test than the players he's played against so far. He played against Dustin Brown. Dustin Brown he's one of those players that comes into the tournament every year, but he doesn't really take it seriously. Like if you see some of the shots he plays some really nice shots, but he's not really going to challenge you in a five-set game. So then moving on to Roger Federer, what do you make of his first 4 games in the tournament? He's looked very good. Like the way he took out Dimitrov yesterday in 3 straight sets. Dimitrov is no slouch, and Federer put him away in 3 sets. So, what's your opinion on Federer and his chances of winning Wimbledon?
I say Roger Federer. He's your default. Um, he's your default basically champion. Like he's a player who's favorite to win this Wimbledon because he's been so comfortable winning his matches. His serve has been top class. He's been hitting winners. He's hit I think 128 winners so far. For Federer, he's doing it at ease. These players, they're expending so much energy. His opponents are expending so much energy to try and match Federer. But Federer's shot making has been absolutely brilliant, and his serve has been top class. For that reason, I'd say Federer looks your best man so far this year. Every year, to be honest, every Wimbledon, whenever Federer is playing, he's always a favorite because of the level of tennis that he plays and the intensity he plays at.
I take your point there. Federer is one of my favourite Wimbledon players, but I don't think that I'd love him to win it, but I don't see him winning it this year. And the reason for that being is the players that he's played in the previous rounds, he's not played anyone, like we said with Andy Murray, that's gonna test him. And we'll see that in the quarterfinal when he plays Milos Raonic, who was last year's Wimbledon runner-up. I think he will be tested to the full in this, and I reckon it will go to 5 sets. And I've got a feeling that Federer will be knocked out in the quarterfinal.
What do you think about Dimitrov? Dimitrov was a top class player. He's really like all-rounded like player. He's really good on forehand. He's very quick. He's got good serve. That was a tricky game, and I think Dimitrov a few years ago he knocked out Andy Murray. So I'd say isn't that a good test, Dimitrov? That goes to show the fact that he won in straight sets goes to show that he can beat Raonic and he can go through all the rounds and win the Wimbledon this year.
That's very true. That, but would you not say Dimitrov is a player that's not really been deep into the Wimbledon competition? Milos Raonic has proven himself and has been to the final before, so he knows what it's like to play against the top players.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a more sterner test with Raonic compared to Dimitrov, but I think Federer will come through. Raonic won't be able to match the level of tennis that Federer plays at, and Federer, he'll serve equally as good as Raonic. You know, Federer, he's one of his strengths is his serve, like Raonic's. So I think he'll balance out, and it'll be based on who plays the better tennis. And Federer, he'll be the better player on the night, I think.
So when looking at Rafael Nadal, Nadal was knocked out yesterday by the Luxembourg player Gilles Muller, the big left arm server, who managed to beat Nadal in 5 sets. He took the first 2 sets, Muller, and then Nadal pulled himself back. Everyone thought that Nadal would come through in the 5th set, but Gilles Muller stuck to his task, and in the final set, we played out into a 15-13 games. Did you think going into the tournament that Rafa Nadal would be the favourite after coming on the back of another Roland Garros title, or did you think that Rafael Nadal on the grass court wouldn't have been as effective as he is on the clay?
Yeah. I get your point. Rafael Nadal, he was favorite coming in. He was really playing some high level tennis, and the discipline that he came through, like his mentally, he was really strong coming into the tournament. And this year, you could tell that he didn't want to give up sets like he did before. Like this time around, he came with a much stronger mentality to try and win against all these opponents. His opponents who'd come at him in previous years. Like you've seen in previous years, Rafael Nadal, he's not had the best run of Wimbledon games, and it's been like a torrid time for Rafael Nadal, losing to people who are very low ranked in the world, like Dustin Brown, like what's his name? What's that guy who beat him in 5 sets? Who was just like taking Rafael Nadal off court? I forgot his name. The first player who's really low ranked and he beat Nadal. I think he's from Czech Republic.
I can't remember the name right now, but when we're moving on to Novak Djokovic, Novak Djokovic has just beaten Adrian Manarino from France in 3 sets. It wasn't really a test. Again, Manarino started.
It's come to my mind. I think his name was Lucas Rosol. Yeah, Lucas Rosol was a. Yeah, that was just
okay. So when talking about Novak Djokovic, he just beat Adrian Manarino, the French player, in the 4th round. It was a pretty straightforward game for Novak Djokovic. But when he played Adrian Manarino, whose style was very similar to Fabio Fognini, who Andy Murray played. But it really wasn't a test for Novak Djokovic's game. And I'm not sure, but do you know who Novak Djokovic has in the quarterfinal?
He's got Thomas Berdych, who is a very, very good hard hitter of the ball, and is a really top server. So that's going to be much more sterner than Manarino. I think Manarino, he challenged Djokovic in terms of like his wrist, and he's able to angle the ball around the court really well. He's finding it hard to like chase after the ball. He's making Djokovic run a lot. But Djokovic, he was too good. He was too good because he's very he serves really top. He didn't give any break points or anything. I think he only gave 1 game away in the 2nd set. So I think Djokovic, he got through that game fairly easily. And the next game is going to be much harder for Djokovic.
Do you not think? Do you not think Djokovic is a very tough player to decide if he's going to win Wimbledon this year, due to the fact that he crashed out of the French Open pretty early on, and he's also been saying that his mind has not been fully on the tennis. He's had a lot of problems off the court. Djokovic is usually there in Wimbledon right towards the end, but to be honest, I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's going to be gone before even the semi-final. I think Berdych will knock him out. So out of the main seeded players that are left, who would you say is the best? Who do you think is going to win it out of them, and why? What's your reason behind your player winning it? Why do you think they're going to win it?
I think Roger Federer, he's gonna win it because purely because he never played the French Open. He never played. I think he only played the tournament before Wimbledon just to get prepared for the tournament. I think mentally, Federer, he's got a lot of motivation. I think he's got his personal life sorted out. His focus is on the tennis court. As you can see, the way he's playing. I say Federer, he's your main man, your favorite to win it. He's coming really top fitness. He's disciplined himself and put a lot of time towards getting himself ready, like in terms of his fitness wise. And because of that, I think Federer, he's more likely to win it. I think he's got a really good offensive game, and he's improved defensively by working on his fitness area. You've seen like he's lost a lot of muscle. He's got a bit more mobile on the court. So I think Federer, he's going to take this one. In my eyes.
I'd have to agree with you in saying I'd love Roger Federer to win it, due to the fact that he's so old yet so committed to staying in this, wanting to win Wimbledon for another time. But yeah, Roger Federer, I'd want him to win it. But I'm not sure if this is true, but I think Roger Federer, if he comes through Raonic and Djokovic beats Thomas Berdych, I think the semi-final is set up to be Roger Federer against Novak Djokovic. Do you think Federer will overcome Djokovic in the semi-final?
Yeah, I'd say Djokovic, he doesn't have that much. You can tell by this year, the way he's coming to this year, he's not motivated that much. And like you said, he's got his like his personal problems, and he's got his off. So I say Djokovic. I think he'll give in if Federer, he really pushes through and he produces the quality that he's been producing throughout this season. You saw in Australian Open, Federer, he beat. Who did he beat again in the final? In the Australian Open, was it Djokovic?
Yeah, I think it was Djokovic.
Yeah, I think it was Djokovic or Wawrinka, whoever it was. But he really had strong mentality, and he pushed through and produced so much quality. Because obviously he's improved his stamina, he's improved his fitness wise. You can see that he can produce quality for longer duration than before. You saw Federer always tailing off because his fitness wasn't there. Fitness wasn't at the level of the other players.
Okay, guys, it's been an interesting debate with my good friend Zach about Wimbledon this time. So in the upcoming week, there'll be another few videos on Wimbledon as it gets closer to the final. The final will be held on Sunday. But yeah, hopefully Federer, wins the final, which will be great. But yeah, it's been another great video. Stay tuned during the week for some more videos on Wimbledon, and then after this, in the upcoming weeks, we'll be doing some more transfer talks towards the Premier League season. Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah, Seth.